Hi, so let me first start by welcoming you to this new year. Earlier, we make it. We are officially in 2023. And as a foundation, and as we continue to diversify, and as we continue to grow and develop, we are constantly looking for ways that we can improve, more things that we can do to bring the message as clear as possible to persons. And we believe that by being out there and being in your face and constantly creating content that we would, if in some small way, we would be able to impact the lives of men, women, families, Trinidad and Tobago, and by extension, the world. There's already so much negative narrative out there as it relates to our country, as it relates to relationships, and so much more. So, what we are trying to do is we are trying to counteract that with programs like these that can reach persons and can touch lives. So, what we're doing today? Well, it's simple. What we're going to be doing today is we are going to be discussing improving your self discipline. And as we enter into a new year, I found this topic quite fitting, and it's actually going to be a series. So, every single week, we are going to be coming to you with different topics that are in some way indirectly and directly related to gender based violence. It's about different aspects of our lives that we can improve on, that we can grow on. So, without further ado, let me first welcome you to like, to share, to subscribe, to tell a friend. It takes so much work to put content like this together, and it's only effective if it's able to reach as the masses, if it's able to reach as much people as possible. So don't forget to tell a friend to share. It's free and it's really easy to do, right? So before we start, let me just tell you a bit about myself, about the foundation as a whole. My name is Atia, and I'm actually the founder of the Justice for Women Foundation. We have now officially entered our third year of existence, and although being so young, of an organization. We've been able to do so many things and we've been able to touch so many lives, and we want to continue to do that. The purpose of our foundation is really to bring awareness to gender based violence, but we want to take it a step further. Not just bringing awareness, but also creating well rounded individuals. We want to touch family lives, we want to change the fabric of society in a way that in the future generations, it would leave such a footprint in the lives of future generations that one day we'll get up and gender based violence will just be no more. One day we'll be able to have whole families, we'll be able to communicate better, we'll be able to laugh more and share more. And that's the aim of the foundation. It's really more about impacting society as a whole. And this first segment, as it's the first day in the year, it's really about discipline. So, what does self discipline even have to do with domestic violence? And I want to say it has every single thing to do with domestic violence. And let me explain who we allow into our lives, how we allow others to treat us, how long we stay in relationships that we have already determined. Listen, this is not good for us. This has a lot to do with discipline. Discipline lets your yay be yay and your nays be nays. And that's what we're trying to instill in persons, because it's more than just saying I want to be disciplined to eat a carrot a day. It's about being disciplined in every single aspect of our lives in a way that at the end of it, we are well-rounded individuals that when we look back at our lives, we're able to say, this is the person that I want to be. This is the impact that I wanted to have on my life. This is where I wanted to be at this stage in my life. And even though we may not be able to always hit the targets, at least every single day of my life, I am making that effort towards the direction that I want to take. So How are we going to live the lives or live the life of your dream? What am I going to do to be able to live the life of my dream? Control your own executive functions, build relationships of purpose, identify the things you want to accomplish. And this is something that we probably do a lot of in the beginning of the year. We take the time and we probably sit down. You're probably the New Year's resolution type of person, or you just mightn't write it down or whatever, but you think about it. I want to be more healthy this year. I've already started doing that. I want to live more healthy this year. I want to build the career of my dreams this year. I want to really complete that degree. I want to travel more. I want to make wiser financial decisions. I want to remove the people that don't help me to live the life that I want to live. I want to remove the people in my life that are currently there that are not contributing to me living a life of purpose. And what this program is going to do is we're going to take it a step further. We're going to go further than just saying these things, and we are actually going to make some decisions that is going to take us to that point in our lives. And that's what the aim is today. So I want to urge you, or I want to invite you to just take some time and really think about yourself and think about what are the things that I want to accomplish this year? What are the things that I want to put more effort into this year? And I want to say that we are already disciplined. And you might say, well, if I already disciplined, well, what is I doing here anyway? Yes, you are already disciplined, but you are already disciplined incorrectly. And what do I mean when I say that? Well, it's simple. I'm sure if I show you a picture without even saying what it is of probably KFC or Facebook, we know what Facebook is, we know Netflix, we know TikTok, we know all of these things because it's constantly in our faces, right? So it's like without us even knowing subconsciously, we are already programmed to know about these things, to eat the foods, we're already programmed in that direction. We are disciplined through advertisement because it's in our face, it's out there, we don't even have to think about it. We see an ad about KFC or we see something about social media or something in that direction. Advertisement manipulates the decisions that we make. And these companies, they understand that okay, through advertisement, we are able to manipulate the decisions that persons make, and they actually spend billions of dollars behind advertisement because they recognize that this is a powerful tool that we can use. There are images all over, whether it's on billboards, on social media, or it's out there, right? And organizations spend billions of dollars investing in this because it works, right? So now we want to use the same technique of advertising to now advertise to ourselves, to be able to make better decisions within our daily lives, within our daily whatever we do. We want to be able to now make these better decisions. So why am I bringing this up? Because we can now use these same methods to influence our lives. They influence our lives negatively every single day. And we are now going to use the same method to influence our lives into the direction that we actually want to go. But how? This program that we are in right now, this video that you are looking at right now, is actually designed to equip you with the tools to take back control of your life. And listen, after such a tumultuous 2022, I think that all of us at some point, we want to take back control of our lives in a way that is more impactful. We want to live the lives that when we sit down and we think about it, we want to live. And the only way to do that is to become intentional about the things and the choices that we make. So what is self-discipline and why should it matter to you? Self-discipline is actually the ability to control your life and focus on the decisions that you want, focus on the direction that you want your life to take. It's the ability to say no to temptation, that it doesn't help you, it doesn't help steer you in the direction that you want to go in, it doesn't help you become the individual that you want to be. And when you think about that, especially for myself personally, because when I was preparing to do this program, I took it from a personal perspective as well as a general perspective, because I want to be able to reach as much people as possible. But the reality is, when you sit down and you think about your life, and what are the things that are hindering you from being the person that you want to be? Is it food? Is it sex, TV, drugs? What is it? What is it that is hindering you from idle time? Whatever it is that is hindering you from becoming the individual that you want to be, it's now being open and honest with yourself and identifying these things, and now figuring out ways that you can become better, a better version of yourself. So, saying no to the things that keep you down and yes to the things that help to uplift you. Yes to the things like, okay, I want to work harder this year. I want to study more. I want to eat healthy. These are things that I would have said to myself, especially moving into 2023. This is my year. And I'm sure a lot of us feel that way. We tend to feel that way a lot um, when we are entering into a new year, because it's somehow symbolizes, and you start, for us, do I want to exercise more? Do I want to limit my interactions with people that add nothing to my life? And that's a big one. There are so many people that are in our lives right now that really, it doesn't add anything for us, and it doesn't really make a difference if they're there or not. And it's about identifying these things and being able to be intentional about who we allow into our personal spaces and who we allow to influence the decisions that we make. So self-discipline helps you to control your impulses, your thoughts, and your actions. And I think that we live in a popcorn generation. I like to call it that. Because, especially for myself, right? When I scrolling through social media, or I googling something or whatever, and the page buffering, that irritates me, because I find I must click blah 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 and everything must just come up automatically. And a lot of us, we live that way because this is the generation, we live in a technology generation, where things are at our fingertips, whereas in the past, um persons had to work a little harder to get things done. For example, where we could just pull up a computer and this computer becomes our personal encyclopedia. You don't even have to have a computer. You could do it on your phone. You could do it. Listen, it's right there at the tip of a finger. Um, in the past, they would have had to have this 1001 encyclopedia and flip through, and information wasn't that readily available. And I think with that mentality now, it's like we thrive on instant gratification. And that is what adds to our indiscipline, because we are so used to getting things so easily. So that's what we're working towards. We're actually working towards now understanding that instant gratification isn't going to add towards us becoming the individuals that we want to be. So what's the ugly truth about discipline? It's not enough to get you through every single phase of your life. And what do I mean by that? Okay, let me give an example. So when I am feel like, okay, so if I have control of my day in a way that I'm at work or I'm at home, and I could prepare my meals for myself, and I could eat at the times that I've designated to myself to eat, and I'm not hungry and I'm not frustrated because I'm hungry and all of that, I tend to keep on track with my diet. But the moment that, let's say, I'm out shopping for the day and I don't eat on the time, okay, this is lunchtime, this is snack time or whatever, the first thing that pops up, I'm going to buy. And at the end, you don't really feel that good about it. But I'm better disciplined when I'm at home or I'm at work rather than if I go out. Or let us say I'm more disciplined in the morning time. You just get up, your brain functions is there, and all of that, and by the time evening time comes and your body a little more tired and all of that, your discipline goes out the window. So you no longer want to exercise. So me, I am tired right now, I'm not exercising right now. Right? Whereas, okay, if I exercise, if I get up in the morning and I exercise, yeah, pumped, I'm fresh. You understand? So we are not disciplined throughout every phase of our lives. I might be a more disciplined person in 2023 than I am in 2022 or than I was in 2022, right? So you might have good self-discipline at particular phases in your life and not at others. You have good self-discipline when you're well rested and when you're full, but not when you're hungry. And so it's about identifying your self-discipline, identifying when you're better disciplined, and using it to your advantage. We are going to learn all of those tools together. Because it's not to say, well, she here and she talking, she probably, no, we all in this journey together. So what you want to do, there are elements urging you to do the very opposite. So let us say that I want to eat healthier. I bet you would have an ad somewhere urging you to eat KFC or to buy a scoop of Haagen-Dazs or something. There are always elements that are going to be out there that is urging you to go in the opposite direction than what you want to go. In this workshop, we want to give you the tools to equip you with all that you need to control what you do, your thoughts, your body, your mind. And I want to say that this is no quick fix in any way. It is, in fact, a journey. When after having my son and being the weight that I always wanted to be, I was really disciplined, but now after having him, I found myself really challenged to get back on track in terms of my health, in terms of my eating habits and the decisions that I make. And you sometimes get tempted. The reason why I was able to lose the weight and keep it off for so long is because I didn't do the crash diets and I didn't do the quick fixes. I didn't do the meal supplements, and for persons that do that, that's on you. But for me, it was deeper than that. I actually wanted to change my lifestyle in a way that it was more about longevity than quick fixes for me. So I wanted to change my lifestyle as related to my health. So it wasn't just about, boom, I lost 50 pounds one time. It wasn't about that. It was about programming my mind and my body and my thoughts into eating healthier, into drinking more water, into exercising every single day. And that is what this program is actually designed to do. It is designed to impart in us everyday decisions, everyday lifestyle. That is not a quick fix. That's not going to happen overnight. But once you get it, once you get the system, it's going to be a part of you. It's going to become a part of you, of your identity and of who you are. So control your actions and behaviors benefit you. And that is what we want to do. You can control your life and your actions, your choices, and direct them in a way that you feel is in your best interest in the long term. And remember, we are talking about that. Short-term gratification. It's detrimental to your overall goals and it restricts you from living the life that you want to live. And that is so straightforward. For example, right now, I want to watch TV, but I really should study. But instant gratification will tell me, girl, watch your show and you go study later on. But is that going to be positive, or is it going to contribute to the direction or the things that I want to do? So it's about aligning those short-term goals that you have, whatever they might be, with your long-term goals and to help you live the life that you want. It's all about balance, people. As I said before, there's no quick fix. It's about balancing out your life in such a way that yes, you are able to enjoy the things that you love to do, the things that you don't really love to do, but is good for you. Work towards that and be happy with how you live your life on a daily basis. And that is the aim. So remember what I said before. I said that you're already well disciplined, right? What do I mean by that? Okay, let me give you some examples, right? So every time I go to the movies, right before the movie is about to start, I see after all the ads, you'd see something come on, like a little robot thing telling you to go to the canteen area or to the concession stand. You have to buy your popcorn, you have to buy your hot dog, you have to buy your juice, you have to, right? There is that. So now every single time I go to the movies, even though, listen, the hot dog is exorbitantly priced, right? And I could for sure get a hot dog, let me say, for $10 outside. But I'm going to the movies and I'm paying $20 for it. And I must get my cup of Cokes and I must have my big popcorn with butter in it and all of that. And these lines, even though it's so expensive, the lines within the cinemas are always so long because we are programmed to behave that way. We are programmed to think that way. Christmas time, whole year clean your house. Christmas time, you have to clean, you have to buy a new curtain, you have to buy a certain gift, you have to spend all your money. They pay my early money. They give me my January money, for December, spend it out. And then when when January come now, oh God, January is such a long month. No, it's a long, It's because you're desperate for the pay. Because you spend all your money in December, forgetting that it have a January to come. It's not that January long, it's that you didn't budget properly because we are programmed to think that, you see me, it had no life after Christmas. After Christmas, I had to spend all my money for Christmas. And we forget that it have a January to come, right? And what about fairy tales? As young children growing up, we are once upon a time, the princess rescued the prince, and they live happily ever after the end. We are programmed to think that life is a fairy tale, but the reality is it's not. The reality is that there's going to be ebbs and flows, there's going to be trials and tribulations, and maybe that's one of the reasons why we are not prepared for adulthood because we were never taught or programmed in the direction of life is not about happily ever afters. Life have good moments, there are bad moments, there are ups and there are downs, but it can help prepare us for who we are to be as an individual, right? Discipline, we are disciplined by social media. So we check every page, every time we want to see how much people like we content, right? And listen, that is one of the things that I always have to tell myself. You see this phone? It's like I need to be more disciplined with this phone because you're always checking something. You're always checking your emails. I am so conditioned that every single time I pick up my phone, I go to Facebook, I go to Instagram, I go to TikTok, I check my emails. Well, every single time because I am programmed that way. And I wonder to myself, what these people before me used to do when they didn't have phone, boy? But the reality is that they weren't programmed that way, but we are, right? So how do we now use the things that already negatively affect us? Because it's too much time spent on social media. That is time that we can spend doing so much more if we really think about it, right? And once you identify who you are as an individual and what you want to accomplish, then you would realize I don't need to spend all that time on my phone, And that's one of the things, you see, anytime I want to have a quiet moment or I want to detach, the first thing I do is I detach from my phone because mental health is real, right? And social media is tiring. It's too much things to remember to do. I have to remember, and listen, it's all in your face. I have to remember to update my status. I have to remember to post on Facebook. I have to remember to check the likes. I have to remember to see if any comment. It's too much. I have to link my Instagram to my Facebook. So when I post on Facebook, I could automatically go to Instagram. It's too much things to remember, and they are constantly finding more ways to distract us from the things that really matter to us. As women, we programmed to believe that we need to look a certain way. And listen, it changes, because there was a point in time when skinny was the thing. And now it's big behind, big lips and Brazilian weave. And that's the new thing. And we are programmed to think that way, and we get so sucked into it that we don't realize that we're spending so much money. Listen, these shapewears, I was looking at it in the mall. These shapewears, they are expensive, but listen, they sell, because it creates the illusion. I might not have the money to put in the big bottom, but these shapewears, they create the illusion that I have it all put together. It's that I could cover it all up, right? And we get so distracted spending our money, spending our time behind these frivolous things. So that's what we are aiming to do. We are aiming to take back control of our own lives in a way that benefits us. We're already modeled and controlled by several forces all around us. And the quicker we recognize that, the quicker we'll be able to now take back control of our lives in a way that benefits us. Marketers spend time understanding your algorithm. Okay, so the other day I'm looking for a little van to buy, right? So the other day I saw one on Facebook, so I click on it. And right after I click on it, wasn't really what I'm looking for, so I came out of it. And every two posts now as I scrolling through Facebook is van. Literally. So it's like they understand your algorithm so well. The same thing for like Netflix, right? So I love to watch more reality type TV shows, right? So I love to watch The Circle. That's just one of the shows that I would watch. And right before The Circle is to drop a new season, it sends me a reminder to let me know that on the 28th of December, because that's when the new season come out, the circle will be launching a new season. Right? So it's like they understand your algorithm. Or if I watch the circle, it would send this as a match for me. Because you watch this, you might like this and whatever. That is how skillful marketers are at understanding your algorithm and sending things your way that would not only distract you, but keep you away from focusing on the things. Because I'm going to tell you something, I don't have no time to sit down and watch no circle, no. But once a new season drop, what could be happening? I need to watch, and I'm not watching no one episode. I have no discipline. I'm not watching no one episode. I want to watch the whole season in one day. And, and if this season have like 8 episodes or whatever, like 8 hours, I sitting down there and looking at this thing. And that is how programmed we are. And that is why we need to now realize that these things has tremendous control over our lives and figure out what are the things that I now need to do where I can still enjoy the things that I love, but have the discipline, the self-discipline enough to say that yes, I can watch this and yes, I can do that, but it's all in moderation and all within balance. Are you going to allow these forces to control your life, or are you going to make the decisions and the choices that are going to be beneficial to you? Right? We can sit back and we can say, well, that's how it is. Or we could make a conscious decision to now do the things that we promised ourselves that we are going to do for ourselves. And it takes a little bit of practice. We are going to stumble and we are going to fall. But it's not about not wanting to stumble and not wanting to fall. Instead, it's about not staying down. So these things are tied to your everyday area of your life, even as it relates to your choices in partners. So I want to make sure that I am still linking it back to our choices as it relates to relationships, because the self-discipline doesn't happen in isolation. Self-discipline isn't just for your health and not for your relationships, or for your finances and not for your health. It's all connected, right? you are not surrounded by music that tells the importance of family structure or men and women of purpose. Instead, it's all about drugs, it's all about drinking, it's all about whining, it's all about, and it's about the fast life. And we get so carried away by these things. We spend so much time listening to these music and thinking that it's not going to impact our lives, but it does, right? Because now we have men that are not able to value women a particular way, because we're not surrounded, and that's the reality of it. We are not surrounded by influences that teaches us the value of women, that teaches us the value of family life. For example, I was reading an article, I think Nick Cannon would have had his 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th child, whatever. I really lost track because it's so much, right? Um, and I also looked at an article where Mayara Carey, listen, is not the godmother, right? Mariah Carey was talking about he's not actively a part of his kid's life because he has twin boys with her. And I'm saying this to say we get so caught up with these things that we don't realize how connected it is to every aspect of our life. We have a lot of men now that does not understand the value of family, of not just financially providing, but emotionally providing, actually being in the home to be able to guide and impart knowledge and all of these things into their lives. They don't understand that child support is not all the support that a child needs into building holistic men and women for future generations. So instead, what we have is we have a lot of broken homes that are carried forth through to the next generation, and the cycle continues, right? Um, it's not, it is all in the music we listen, the shows we look at, it's everywhere. It surrounds us, and it directly and indirectly influences the decisions that we make. And what we want to do now is we want to, and it starts with you. I get so annoyed sometimes when I hear people talking about government or this one or that one. And I always say, before I take the time to point fingers at all of the people that are doing all of the wrong things, I need to spend time now focusing on myself and how I would have contributed to the negatives in society and try to make a difference. And if each and every one of us thinks that way, then we would live in a happier world. Because it goes both ways, because this generation of women are also not focused in terms of family life or whatever, because we're so caught up in the hair, the nails, the party, the brands, the styles. We caught up into these things that we too are not imparting in our children true values that would help make society a better place. It's not to say that you shouldn't look good or you shouldn't do the things that you love. It's not to say anything like that. But again, what controls you? What guides you? What guides the decisions that you now decide to make in your life? Balance, people. Balance, balance, balance. And it's the beginning of the year, and it's the best time to really sit down and think about the balance that we want to create in our lives, where we're still able to enjoy the things that we love to do, but we are now intentional in terms of how we think, the decisions that we make, the actions that we take. People are already disciplined, although these habits are most likely affecting you negatively. And being disciplined, it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work, because it's you fighting against yourself. It's you fighting against the things that you actually want to do. It's you fighting against your impulses to say, this isn't good for me right now. And actually making the decision that I am going to go against what I feel and do what I know is best for me. And that takes a level of maturity. It takes a level of discipline, and it takes a level of control that not everyone, and it's so sad to say that not everyone is going to develop. It doesn't matter how much videos like this is created. It doesn't matter how many people come into your life. Not everyone is going to develop that level of discipline. So the most effective form of discipline and control, how do I control myself? What do I do to control myself? How do I stay away from this person that I know isn't good for me? Although I love them, or what I consider love to be, I get some sort of short-term gratification, but in the long term, I know that they are not conducive to the family life that I want to create, right? And it goes back to family structure in terms of I might like, and a lot of times women and men, we know that this person isn't good for us. We know that in terms of where I want to go, what I want to accomplish, who I want to be, we know that this person is not that for us. Right? We have already determined, we've already sat with ourselves, and we've already determined that this is not the person for me. But because we are controlled a lot by emotions, and because our emotions may not just into that direction, we ignore what we already inwardly have accepted, and then we end up forming families and building lives, getting married to people who we would have already known wasn't good for us. How do I work out for that 30 minutes? Although I now come from work and I'm tired, how do I sit down and read that chapter of that book that I know that, okay, I said I'm going to read, because probably a nonfiction, because it's going to impart in me more of the things that I want or that I need to become a well-rounded individual. Um, how do I eat healthy and avoid all these foods that I know in the long run isn't going to be good for me, because I want to live to be 150, right? What do I do to live the life that I want to live? I have already identified that I know my family is prone to certain chronic diseases, and I don't want that to be me. So how do I now make the decisions to ensure that I am eating and living a lifestyle that is not going to land me in that position? We are very reactive as a people. I remember when I made the decision to lose the weight. I remember not feeling well for quite some time. I'll keep going to bed and getting this feeling like having a heart attack. And I was just like, what is happening? And the night, I didn't sleep at all the night. And I got up the morning and I said, I'm going to the hospital. And I called my manager and I said, listen, I'm going to be late today because I'm going to the hospital. And when I got there, and I did the several tests or whatever, it was confirmed that my heart was under a lot of stress. And it was getting problems to pump blood to all other parts of my body. So the doctor, he looked at me and he said, you need to lose the weight. And it was only because of fear that I decided. I remember I went home that night and I told my husband, I said, listen to me. I'm not eating this, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing it. It was pure fear, and that was it for me. I called Tricia, she was my trainer at the time, and I told her, I said, listen, this is the situation and this is what I need from you. And I remember she gave me the most turn buff up, because she would train me several times before and I would just follow up the program, right? But she was like, listen, don't come here to waste my time. She said, if you're serious and you really want to lose the weight, I'm going to be here for you. If not, don't bother me. I was like, but I needed that. And listen, she really did, every step of the way she was there. She was there. She worked out with me. Sometimes 5 o'clock in the morning, this girl used to get up off of her bed to come and train with me so that I could go to work out before I go to work. And these little things, but I was reactive. I wasn't proactive because it was only when I started to get sick and realized that I needed to do this that I did it. But I was aware before of the chronic disease and the challenges that I have in my family, and I did nothing about it. So this program is really to help you become proactive instead of reactive, because it's only when things happens to us then we decide, okay, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. How do I channel who I allow to enter my body physically? That's a big one. That one is deep if you really take the time to think about it. I's a big man and I's a big woman and I could do what I want. Sure, no problem. But what we need to realize is that the people we allow to enter into our bodies physically is not just enter, they impart things in us that are not really healthy for us. They affect us emotionally, they affect us physically, they affect us spiritually. How do I make wiser decisions now about who I allow to enter into my body? Not just into my life, but into my body. Apart from the fact that I am a big woman, right? How do I control my spending to ensure that I am accumulating generational wealth? We live in an era where persons are just focused on instant gratification. I see that and I want it. I see this and I want it. Right? But what about thinking now? I am now building finances for future generation. My children must not have to work as hard as I did. So I am ensuring that I make the decisions and I make the choices that are going to benefit them for generations to come. How do I ensure that I am not wasting my time on frivolous things and people, but on more meaningful? Listen, there are so many people that are in our lives that we really don't need. We could well do without them. But because we are social creatures, we tend to believe that we need people in our lives. And I am so grateful for 2022 because it has taught me my friend list is so little. The people that I consider is so little that sometimes I'm told that I feel I'm better than people, but that is so far from the truth. And anybody who knows me on a personal level knows that that is nothing close to the truth. Instead, sometimes when you have been hurt so many times by human beings that you tend to limit your interactions with persons, and people need to now work harder to prove themselves to you and vice versa, that they actually deserve a space in your life. And that is simple maturity. That is simple growth. And insanity is literally doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. People continue to prove to me that they don't consider my feelings. They don't consider how their actions will impact upon me. And am I going to just simply allow people to just enter into my life? Or am I now going to become intentional about who I allow into my life? And that goes for friends, it goes for family, it goes for co-workers, it goes for every single type of relationship in my life. I don't think twice to limit. I don't hate anyone. I'm not burning bridges with anyone, but I am intentional because I deserve that. I deserve peace in my everyday life. And I'm intentional about who I am going to allow into my life at any given point in time. Right? How do I ensure that I'm not wasting my time on things that I don't need to be wasting my time on? Social media, people, help me. Right? Because the reality is, the time that I would spend, there's this app that you can actually track how much time you spend on Facebook or these social media things. And I'm not even going to tell you the number, but I spend so much time on these things that I have to ask myself, this is time that I could have literally spent doing something else. And there's so many things that I just always tell people I am going to be a superhuman by the time I leave this world. What I'm going to leave behind when my life is over is going to be something of substance. It's going to be substantial, and that is who I intend to be. And I cannot become that person if I am spending so much time simply scrolling through my phone that is not adding purpose and and you need to reach to that level in your life where you actually identify this isn't adding purpose to me. This isn't contributing towards what I said or the promises that I made to myself. Right? So I not to say that I can't do it, but I need to be self-disciplined enough to limit and to track how I do these things. How do I now reach the point where I look back at my life and I said to myself, and I could say to myself, I have lived the life that I have promised myself. How do I take control of my own life? I'm going to tie it back into the most effective form of discipline and control. How do I reach to that level of the most effective form of discipline and control so that I live the life that I say that I want to live? Advertisement has proven to be effective. So we see pictures, we see logos, we see video, we see text, listen, Digicel, I don't know. And I don't know if anybody from Digicel listening, but up to recently, I was like, how I could block Digicel. I literally Googled that, because every single day when I hear my phone go, and I tell myself somebody messaging me to talk to me is Digicel, advertising. But they continue to do it and they continue to spend money towards doing it because it works. It mightn't work for me, but towards somebody else, they might, when they get the ad, they see something and they click on it and they go into it and it works. So how do I now advertise to myself to do the things that I want to do? And that is what we are going to look into now. The one thing we all have in common is that we have one life to live. And that is so, once we sit down and we really think about it, I used to say, I'm not going to live my one life fact. I literally used to say that, I am not going to live my one life fact. I must live my one life at a healthy weight and at a healthy place, right? You have one life to live. How do you take control? Are you going to live a life that matters to you? How are we going to influence ourselves, influence our lives in such a way that is beneficial to us? How do I work towards becoming the individual that I actually want to be? How much work are you willing to put in? And that's the question moving forward that I want to ask you. How much work are you willing to put into your own self? I'm not asking you to put in work into anybody else but your own self. We are going to use the power of corporate advertising. We are going to advertise to ourselves to become who we want to become. Yes, it's going to take some work. And yes, it's going to take some effort. But I am worth it. We all have a cell phone. And now we want to use that cell phone to influence our own lives. It is, in fact, a powerful tool. And what makes a cell phone so powerful is that we all have one that we be on social media on anyhow, and that we can all use it in a way because it all has the same program. And I looked at someone called TJ Walker, and he has a model called the selfie model, right? It's selfie speak, selfie media, and selfie text. And I'm going to give you a little bit of information about that so that we can now impact ourselves through advertising. You are going to advertise to yourself. So the first one is the selfie speak model. So we all have audio on our phone, and you create an audio and you tell yourself the habits that I want to implement in my life. Talk to yourself, be specific, record yourself. For example, I will take accountability for who I allow in my life. I will be accountable to the men and women I allow in my life. I will drink 1 glass of water every morning. I will not encourage messages and calls from people I have already determined has no place in my life. That's a big one, and I'm going to touch on it. Okay, so we may have spent time, and I am often classified as an overthinker, and that's fine because I actually take time when things happen in my life. I take time to sit down, to think about it, to reminisce on it, because I don't want to make the same mistake twice, right? And I would have spent time determining that certain people has no space in my life. But sometimes when you might get a smell that remind you of the person, or you might scroll through and you might still have a picture there that may have popped up. Facebook like to do you that, Facebook memory. Gosh, right? And it may bring back emotions that you may have suppressed. And you might be tempted to probably send a message to say hi, to call, but you've already determined. And people change, and that's good. People do change, that's good. But if I've already spent the time into determining, and forgiveness does not mean that I have to speak to you every day. Forgiveness just means that I don't hate you, that I want the best for you, but you don't have to be in my personal space, right? And after already determining that, I don't need to send that message to you. I don't need to send that, because what is it going to add? What is it going to benefit? Who is it going to benefit? And that is the point that we need to reach in our life. We need to reach that level of intentionality when it comes to our lives, so that we make better decisions when it comes to our lives. So the first thing in the morning after you make this recording, you listen to it. Bombard yourself with these messages every single day. Listen to it on your way to work. Listen to it in the shower. Play it every day, and it can diversify as you develop, and diversify, it can change. For example, I might say I want to walk for 30 minutes every day, but now 30 minutes not working for me, so I will need to walk an hour every day. I could go back into it, and because it's free and it's easy, I could now go back into it, and I could say I would walk an hour every day. I could record it over. Be intimate, be honest with yourself. This is created for you, by you, right? Open it, be open with yourself, listen to it, be specific, talk to yourself and say the things that, and listen to it every day, because we tend to rely too much on memory. And the reality is that our memories aren't that good, right? But by listening to it every day, you are reminding yourself every day of the things that you promised yourself that you are going to do for yourself. Just like we listen to our favorite songs every single day. I like to listen to motivational speaking on a morning. So just as I get up early in the morning, I get up around 4:30. I'll put on, I love TD Jakes, I love Miles Monroe, I love Les Brown. So I would listen to these things, and it helps pump me up for the day. And what I've done now is that I've added the promises that I've made for myself. It doesn't have to be long, a minute long, that I remind myself every morning. Drink a glass of water, girl. It's water time, girl. Right? And you remind yourself of the things the promises that you've made to yourself, and you make sure that you get it done. It provides those triggers that you need to remind yourself of the promises that you've made to yourself. The other side of this, because advertisement is about audio, it's about images, it's about videos, it's several elements, and you are now going to bombard yourself on several elements. And I don't know if you've heard the phrase, but I'm sure you've heard the phrase, a picture tells 1,000 words. It's worth 1,000 words. So what you're going to do now is you're going to take pictures. of yourself doing the things that you want to do, of the promises that you've made yourself. For example, you take a picture of yourself walking, take a little selfie with yourself walking, take a picture of yourself eating healthy, the little salad. You say you will eat. Take a picture, you promise yourself you're not using your phone at a particular time. Take yourself or probably reading at that particular time. I want to spend more time with my family. Take a picture of these things. And I want to say that becoming a mother has really taught me a lot, because sometimes I will come from work and I have plenty things to do, because as I tell earlier, I always doing something. And Aiden wouldn't see me for the entire day, and he may want to spend some time with me. And sometimes get annoyed because I'll be like, I want to finish this. I have this paper, I want to finish it. And then I remind myself that this is the child that I prayed for, and that these are moments that I'm not going to get back, because he's now learning how to speak. He's saying the little words, and he's learning how to walk. And I could miss it. I could miss these things, and I'm going to look back at that with regret. So I've included spending time with my family. I've even done it in my relationship. It's like, and sometimes we that's why being intentional is so important, because I didn't notice that I was doing that, and my husband would say, you be doing work or doing school stuff for the majority of the day. Even when you're home on a weekend, I would stay locked up in the room for the entire day, just doing the things, work. And life is about balance. Life is about making time for every aspect of your life. So that's a part of the promises that I've made to myself, right? Put it in an album. For me, I have a private Facebook, not a page, profile, right? That I use to put things on. So I will put pictures of just things that I want to be reminded of, and I would view it there. You could probably put the pictures on your phone. You could put it on your wall. You could have it in your car, anywhere that you could see it every single day. Again, you are bombarding yourself with habits that you want to implement in your life. Let these images act as a constant reminder of what you told yourself on this 1st of January or whenever that you were going to do. It doesn't need to be professional. Your pictures, your face, they have to be beat, right? Your makeup don't have to be flawless. Your hair don't have to be slicked. Be authentically you. Be as open and as vulnerable as you could be with yourself. And look at these images again. Early in the morning is always the best time, because your mind is fresh and ready to go, right? Look at it. Remind yourself of the habits that you want to implement, and you are doing this on a daily basis. And then there's the selfie text program, which is actually the last of the 3. And it's basically a checklist. So you are now creating a checklist of the same things. You are reiterating the things that you would have done in audio and the things that you would have done in picture, right? And it could be kept in your phone, because your phone, again, is easy access. You have it there. Or maybe you're the type of person that likes to use notepads, or you like to use journals, calendars on your wall. Well, listen, it's what works for you. This program is literally designed for you, by you. You can't rely on your memory. I want to say that again, because it has so many things that when I look back at it, I wrote down, because I will go back in my New Year's resolution the next year. So you see, like now, so I'm going to look at my New Year's resolution, and then I say, wait, now, I didn't do this, no, I didn't do that. But what this checklist is you're checking it every day, and you're putting a tick. I work out today, tick. I read the chapter of the book today, tick. So you are literally going into your checklist and you're checking it every day. You add a note. So it's like you're being intentional in the promises that you made for yourself. Last year, I didn't make any promises to myself last year. And I want to say, compared to other years in my life, it has been my most non-productive year. It really has. Mostly because I dedicated that year to being a mother, because I'm a first-time mother, and I dedicated that year towards that. I didn't make any resolutions. I didn't plan to do anything. I didn't do anything really. But I did a lot as it relates to my son, and I focused my energy into that direction, primarily because I would not have enjoyed the love of a mother, and it was very, very important for me, for my son to experience love in a way that I never had, until I feel right now he's spoiled, right? But I've said that as he grows older and that he's able to understand when I speak, that I will get better at not spoiling him, because I know that we are a generation of people that try to compensate for things. So we didn't have certain things and we want our children to have the same thing. But again, balance, right? So let me go back. I digress to the Selfie text program. So you make your habits it easy and convenient by having it there, where you could track every day. Did I drink my water? Tick. Did I take my 30 minutes walk? Tick. Right? This method is the text version of all the other medias that we would have spoken about previously. It tracks what you do by reviewing your list every single day for your progress. So you're looking at your progress every day. You're not checking it at the end of the year. You're checking it every single day. Now it's time to make a decision. Is this going to just be another one of those videos that I looked at? Or am I going to implement the things that I would have learned? We already are an hour in. Am I going to implement the things that I have learned? Or would this just be an hour of my time? And if you just look at this video and go back to life as normal, I want to say that you would have missed it and that you would have wasted an hour or and counting of your life, right? Or am I going to actually take the time to write down the areas of my life that I want to improve, to take the pictures? Am I going to go to work? Am I going to do the things that I said that I'm going to do? Am I going to record the audio? Am I going to listen to it every day? Am I going to monitor my checklist? The ball is now in your court as it relates to what you are going to do from here on out. And as we look at that area, we are also going to look at something called the 7 spheres. And again, I want to say that it is all connected. In some way, shape, or form, it's all connected, right? All these areas of our lives are all connected. And what we're going to do now is we're going to look at the 7 different areas of our lives and how we can now implement it into becoming the individuals that we want to become and achieving the things that we said that we are going to achieve. We're going to look at our executive functions. We're going to look at our health or financial habits. We are going to look at creating self-learning, leisures, and relationships. So the first of these spheres, it's 7 different spheres, all of which connect and help make you unequivocally you. So the first is your executive functions. It's controlling your schedule, realizing you are literally designing your schedule in a way that is literally linked to your identity. What do I mean by that? You are ensuring that your schedule comprises of activities that work towards you becoming the individual that you say you want to become. Who are you really? We need to spend some time in order to become who we want to become. We need to really spend some time determining who are you really? Who is Atia? What makes me Atia? What are the things that unapologetically makes me me? I will stop work at 4 p.m. every day. Listen to me, we just get carried away with this, eh? We don't work 4 o'clock, but we only people work 5 o'clock. Doing what? And we wouldn't go home in our house. Life is about balance. It's about doing the things that I need to do, yes. And I'm not saying that it wouldn't have moments where, okay, I have to stay back a little hour, but there's sometimes we overdo because we're so focused on one aspect of our lives without recognizing that the rest of our lives is being deprived, right? I will go to bed no later than 10 p.m. God, this is me. Because I would be on my phone scrolling. I don't know if I scrolling to reach the bottom of the earth. I don't know where I scrolling to go. Right? But I would be there and I would be scrolling. And when I look up, oh God, I don't work in the morning. No. Cut off. Have a cut-off point. And all this time I scroll, and it's time that I could have been spending with my family. It's time that I could have been spending reading a book. It's time that I could have been spending studying. You understand? Am I doing those things? Organize your day in a way that fits into your schedule. Organize your day in a way that fits you, that it is designed for you, to ensure that the things that I am doing on a daily basis aligns with who I want to be as an individual. Make sure you have your tasks. Write down the things I want to do. Write down the things that define you as an individual. This is where we go on the inside. We inwardly examine ourselves. What are the things that are most important to you? What makes you, and listen, the moment that you are able to identify what makes you you, these tasks and these things, it will rattle off the tip of your fingers. Because you would already recognize what you need to do to ensure that you are becoming the person that you want to become. We need to spend more time investing into ourselves. We spend a lot of time investing into so many things. We invest time into social media. We invest time into movies. We need to now zone into investing time into the things that are important to us, investing time into our family, investing time into our relationships, investing time into our finances, investing time into the things that matter to us. Then comes your health. And I want to say this. You could be as organized, as family oriented, as financially stable as possible, and you do not have health on your side, all of these things become null and void. What are the things that I need to do to ensure that I live to be the 100 I tell all that I was going to be? What are the things that I need to do to ensure that I do that I achieve that I'm able at the age of 100 to do the activities that I love to do and I'm not lying on a bed? Having money and the best schedule, being surrounded by the best people, it means nothing if you are sick and ailing. Ensure that you are getting stronger every single day by the little things that you do. Again, we're so programmed to tip of your finger that we think that we had to lose weight in 2 months. And we not and then when the 2 months come and we lose the weight, we haven't learned the lesson, so we put it back on and we have to lose it in the next 2 months again. No. Instead, take the time to focus on your sleeping. Sleep, your health suffers when you're not well rested. I just feel so miserable when I don't get a good night's sleep. And having anxiety means that a lot of times I will stay up in the night just overthinking about things and then not able to function. Right? No screen time before before I go to my bed. No screen time. Right? Discipline yourself as it relates to sleep. Set a schedule. I am going to bed at 9 each night to ensure that I wake up at such and such each time, because I function better that way. Your diet. What are you eating? Are you making a conscious decision about the things you choose to eat? And temptation is real. It's out there. It's real. But am I going to be disciplined enough to decide that I know that this isn't good for me? I have acid reflux terribly. I know I'm not supposed to eat pepper. I know I'm not supposed to eat fried stuff. Yet and for all, I will eat these things and suffer after. Are we now going to be intentional about the things that we choose to eat? And COVID-19 has taught us about the importance of a healthy diet, a healthy lifestyle. Because, say what you want, persons with chronic disease were the most affected. So what am I going to do now to ensure that as it relates to my diet, I am intentional. I am not snacking. I'm eating fresh vegetables every single day. And I know that these things are sometimes costly to do. But I always say to myself, it's going to be more costly when I have to buy the medication. So it's better that I take the front than front take me. Granny used to say that. Limit your juice and your soft drink. These things add nothing to your body. Right? Limit your sugars. Don't leave your health up to chance. You need to program your mind and instill in your mind every single day, this is what I am going to do. These are the steps that I'm going to take to ensure that I am eating healthy, that my diet is a healthy one. Exercise. Again, don't leave it up to chance, because if you leave it up to chance, you're going to come home from work when you know you say you're going and take the 30-minute walk, and you're going to watch the circle. I remember when I gradually got stronger when I started to work out. It wasn't a one fit kind of thing. And I always remember when I first started to work out, it was a group of women that would do the aerobics. And I remember being to the back of the aerobics and crying because I couldn't keep up. I couldn't lift my feet. I couldn't do the jumping jacks. I couldn't do it. And I was looking at everybody else doing it and I couldn't do it. And gradually, as the month progressed, I worked my way to the front of the aerobics line, and it's them had to keep up with me now. But that didn't happen overnight. That did not happen overnight. It's a gradual process, and that is what makes it challenging. It's challenging because you are going to have to program yourself every single day now to make these steps. I'm be specific. I am going to walk for 30 minutes. I am going to do 30 jumping jacks. I am going to skip for 10 minutes. I am going to do 20 sit-ups. You are specific. And as I say, you can increase, you can decrease, you can make it specific just for you. But be intentional about it. And then the next sphere that we're going to look at is strong relationships. What is your identity as it relates to relationships? The minute you link your identity to your relationships, you are going to be a lot more intentional about the people that you allow into your life. And that is something that I had to learn along the way. Right? Because sometimes we make it too easy for persons to be privy to the intimate parts of our lives. We need to be intentional with how does my identity align with who I allow to enter into my life and to expose myself and my spirit and my mind and my activities to. What types of relationships do I want to have as it relates to intimate relationships, friendships, family, work relationships? Sit and be intentional about these things. How do I develop loving, long-lasting relationship with my significant other? And sometimes we tend to neglect the persons that are closest to us, and I am so guilty for that because I don't spend that time that I really should. Probably call, and I'm not that type of person to call and to message and to. It really isn't me, and I think it isn't me because so many things may have happened along my life where I don't rely much on people. Um, that I basically function in isolation best. I really do. Like as we speak, I am in isolation, um, away from everyone, on my own, in a room all by myself. And I am the most at peace in that zone, primarily because I have had to do so much in my life in isolation that I function better that way. But it's not necessarily best for me. And I now need to become intentional about not neglecting the persons that love me, about not neglecting the persons that actually want to be a part of my life, right? So I need to, for the new year, it's definitely something I need to do. I need to call a little more often, send a little message, chat a little bit more, because sometimes we forget the persons that are closest to us and that love us. Know what model of relationships you need. What is the type of relationships that you need in your life that is going to be beneficial to you, that is going to work with you and not against you? Do I need to be more intentional in how I stay in touch with those I care about? And I want to say this, even if singleness is for you as it relates to intimate relationship, that is okay too. I may be my happiest alone, and it is what it is. I may be my happiest simply being alone. And that is why you need to identify, spell it out, all the things that you want out of all of the classes of your relationships in your life. What am I looking for with my romantic relationship? What am I looking for with my friendships? What am I looking for with my family? What am I looking for in my work life? Very recently, I would have had a conversation with my father, who would not have played any role in my life. However, and whatever role he played, it was very, very minute. However, I had my son, and it was important to me, if he wanted to be a part of his life, right? So I would have called just to give him the opportunity to be a part of his life. And he started to demand of me, why are you calling? And I had to very quickly, listen to me, my time for sitting down and having people do things to me that I don't like and I don't say anything, as you get older, these things don't fly. And I would have said to him, listen to me, the role that you would have played in my life was very, very insignificant. But I'm still open to play a part in my son's life, I'm not going to, withhold him from you in any way. But you see, as it relates to me, boundaries, people. We need to be intentional about setting boundaries. I say, as it relates to me, the hurt that you have caused has been so significant that it's not going to go away overnight. It's something that you are going to have to work towards. People need to earn a place in your life. People need to earn what role they play in your life. Your life is your life, and they cannot jump in and jump out regardless of who they are. They cannot jump in and jump out of your life as they please. Which is also what I would have said as it relates to my son. I said, I will not allow you to hurt him the way that you hurt me. If you want to be in his life, you need to be consistent, or do not bother. And that is how intentional, that is how specific, that is how real we have to be as it pertains to our lives. The next aspect of this sphere is you need fun. This is my favorite part because I need to remind myself that I need fun. I would sit for hours doing work, and I would forget to do the things that I like. And then what happens is I will find my mind. I'm unable to rest my mind, and my mind starts to race. And I can't sleep because I'm spending so much time doing one specific thing. So I'm saying to you that put pressure on yourself to relax. Life is about balance. Enjoy the things that brings you pleasure. 60 minutes of TV every day. I never say 60 hours, I say 60 minutes. You like to sit down and watch your circle for long. 60 minutes of social media. Play a game. Spend some time with your family. Whatever brings you joy, make it personal and be intentional and implement these things into your life. Ensure that you have the self-discipline not to get carried away with doing the things that you love to do. It's easy to do, so it's easy to get carried away. But it's so easy to do that you should not restrict yourself from doing it. But again, balance, implement measures that would ensure that even in doing it, that you ensure that you do it in a way that is going to be most beneficial to you. The next aspect of this sphere is you are a self-learner. Sometimes, we say, I finished my degree, or I finished high school, or I finished that trade, that course, that whatever. And continue to always embed more things into yourself. Continue to always develop yourself. I am always in a course. Then people must be fed up on me. I'm always signing up for something. I am always doing something. I am always on the go. Because I'm a self-learner. So many of us believe that after you complete a degree or a course or whatever, that is it. But learning is something that is continuous. A fixed mindset says that this is who I is. This is who I am. But that limits you. This type of mindset, it limits you. Learn on your own. Learn every day. Read a book. A non-fiction book. And again, once you align that with your identity, you will know the things that you want to teach yourself every single day. Attach yourself learning to your identity so that you can now develop who you are, who you want to be, where you want to go. watch a new video, listen to a non-fictional book, read a book, complete short courses. There's no one size fit all, but you need to spend that time planning. Hold yourself accountable. Don't get relaxed, people. It's easy to get relaxed. I finished the degree. Oh God, that degree was hard. I'm relaxing now. Don't get relaxed. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to stop for a while. You know, the degree was so pressing on you and you needed that time. But get back at it because the world is constantly evolving. And if you do not evolve with the world, you are going to get left behind. The next angle of the sphere is you are a creator. Do what you need to do to reach your full potential. You need to start adding something to the world. You need to add something to the world that did not already exist. I like to sew. I like to draw. I like to write. I like to make. Listen, anything that has to do with my hands, I love to do it. What do you love to do? Do you love to sing? Do you love to write books, short stories? What is it that you like to do? Life is so much more meaningful as a creator than as a consumer. We have several habits that we could use to create. What habits do you love to do that you can now use to create? Identify what you like to do. Figure out how it aligns with who you are as an individual. How does your creation align with your identity? Spend as little as 10 minutes every single day doing the things that you like to do. That's 10 minutes every day for 365 days. That's powerful. And it doesn't mean every day I have to invest 90 hours. It doesn't mean that. But the little time that you spend every single day doing the things that you love to do can be beneficial to you and adds to this other sphere, which is your wealth accumulation. Where do you see yourself financially? When you sit down and you think about your life, where do I see myself in the next 10 years financially? And how do I get there? How much wealth do I need? I want to travel the world. I want to see the 7 wonders of the world. How much money do I need to do that? Just the other day, I was sitting down and I was thinking about that, I said, this one little life I had to live. I want to live this whole life in Trinidad, boy, and Tobago. I am not going to travel. I am not going to see places. I am not going to meet people, new experience, new cultures, learn a new language. I am not going to do that. Who do you think you are? What do you want to be? Be specific on the things that you need to achieve financially. Be specific. What do I need to become financially stable? What do I need to obtain financial independence? You remember that same thing we were just talking about before, creation? How can I use creation, the things that I love to do, to bring me wealth, to make money? Build wealth from your creations. I like to sew. Sew for people. I like to write a book. And you would find that by doing the things that you love to do, it comes easy and it comes natural to you. And it's a skill that not all of us is going to develop. Because we tend to think, well, it's easier for me to work a 9 to 5 each day. But is that 9 to 5 going to help you to live the life that you want to live? Put your self-discipline to work. Bombard yourself with messages you want to ensure that you implement in your life. Bombard yourself with them every single day. Take the time to sit down and instill the things that you need to be the person that you want to be. There's a magic in frequency, even in advertisement. If you don't see something at least 7 times, it's like you never saw it. That's why you see it in our face so many times. You need to implement these habits every single day. All that we've spoken about. Yes, it could diversify, but look at your goals. Listen to the audio. Use your checklist every day. Look at your pictures. And after doing them every single day, it becomes such a natural part of your life. They become a consistent reinforcement because you're doing it every day. And you'll find yourself going through these checklists tick, 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 quicker because it's so much of a natural part of you. Ensure that you don't leave your body, your mind, your actions exposed to all of these forces that we have already determined exist and is there. Live life on your own terms. And with that, I want to say congratulations. You now have the tools that you need to be self-disciplined. It's up to you now. Design your life the way that you want. Be happy, be productive, and live the life of your dreams. I want to say thank you so much for joining me on this journey. And I will see you again next week. But again, if this video was impactful to you, and if this video made a difference in your life, don't be selfish about it. Share it with someone. Tag someone. Tell someone. And thank you all for spending this hour and 30 minutes with me. Look forward to seeing you next week.